Without access to a weapon, the Atlanta shooter is just a racist and a misogynist. But armed with a firearm, purchased that very day, he is a monster, a mass murderer. America awoke today to another nightmare, stunning, shocking, savage, but unsurprising. Inaction has made this horror completely predictable. Inaction by this Congress makes us complicit. Now is the time for action to honor these victims with action, real action, not the fig leaves or the shadows that have been offered on the other side, along with hopes and thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers cannot save the 8 victims in Atlanta or the 10 last night, including a brave police officer. Thoughts and prayers can't save the 24,000 people killed every year or the 26 blacks killed every day, the 8 children killed as a result of unsecured weapons every day. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. And yet, thoughts and prayers is all we have heard from my colleagues on the other side. Thoughts and prayers must lead to action. This time feels different. The dawn of a new era with a president completely committed to gun violence prevention. And I know from having heard him privately and publicly that he shares this passion. So do majorities now in the House and the Senate. And we have a majority leader in the United States Senate who has promised a vote on constitutional common sense gun violence prevention measures. Our opponents are on their heels, the NRA declaring financial and really moral bankruptcy, and we have, maybe most important, a powerful grassroots movement that has produced results at the polls, wins for members of Congress. And that grassroots movement is led by a new generation of groups and individuals. In the midst of the most serious disease outbreak in our lifetime, gun violence is an epidemic in its own right. Guns in the wrong hands make the most serious problems potentially fatal and irreversible. The hate-motivated shootings that tore through Atlanta last week are just the latest example. They won't be the last. Without access to a weapon, the Atlanta shooter is just a racist and a misogynist. But armed with a firearm, purchased that very day, he is a monster, a mass murderer. A disturbed man going into a grocery store yesterday, armed with a weapon of war, can kill with the brutal efficiency and speed meant for combat. A domestic abuser exploiting intimate relationship in violent and horrific ways. When a gun is involved, death becomes 5 times more likely. And a person with suicidal thoughts who doesn't have access to a firearm can seek help. But with a gun, that life can be over in an instant. We need to end this epidemic with a comprehensive nationwide approach. Expanded background checks, extreme risk laws to prevent suicides, mass shootings, and hate crimes, protecting domestic violence victims, and safe storage standards. These kinds of measures are within our reach. When I asked a mom after Sandy Hook, literally at a ceremony for her child, whether she would talk to me when she was ready about action we could take together. She said through her tears, "I'm ready now. America is ready now. Congress must act. Congress must be ready now." Thank you, Mr. Chairman.